2 games here today, and we are on. Hey guys, how you going today on BKR Sport? We are live as the Canberra Raiders are going to be taking on the South Sydney Rabbitohs in a pretty good game. A pretty big game here that really could go anyway. Like, the Raiders are going to be the favourites for sure. We all know that, especially considering that if they win this game, they actually will go into first position this weekend, which, is a crazy thought process considering the Dogs have been there as a staple all throughout the season so far. So it's a massive game for them. Also, 319 games for Josh Papali'i. Absolutely massive for him. A legend of the Canberra Raiders. And honestly, people don't talk about it enough. A legend of the game. You know, he's played some fantastic footy all over the international game, state of origin for Queensland. You know, he's all been a part of it. And, Josh Papali'i is a very good player over the years that has really been impressive. So, look, I hope nothing but the best for him tonight. It's not going to be easy against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. And to be fair, if I'm the Rabbitohs, I'm a bit nervous right now because they've had to go down to Canberra where it's cold and it's rainy right now. And it's not looking pretty. It's not looking pretty in the nation's capital. But let's get into the 2-team lineups here today. Before we do get into the chat and see what you were saying, obviously hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. I appreciate you for tuning in as per usual as I try to survive last night. As I tried to survive last night. But the Canberra Raiders, they come to this game from 4th position, whilst the South Sydney Rabbitohs come to this game from 11th position, and this is at GIO Stadium in Canberra. You go to the ins, Jamal Fogarty and Tom Starling for the Raiders, while the outs are Daniel Levi and Ethan Sanders. You go to the fullback, which is KO Weeks, with the wingers being Savelio Tomato and Xavier Savage. Centers of Matthew Tomoko and Sebastian Chris, who has been, honestly, one of the better players to watch over the last couple of years. I was even including last year, but this year as well. Sebastian Chris has been absolutely fantastic to watch in the centres. Go to the 5'8", Ethan Strange, with the halfback being Jamal Fogarty. Front row forwards is the main man, Josh Papali'i, alongside Joseph Tarpany, who is the captain. Then the number 9 is Tom Starling. Back row, Hudson Young and Zach Hosking, with the 13 being Corey Horsburgh. And then the interchange is Owen Paddy, Simi Sasangi, Morgan Smithies, and Ada Mariotta, with the 18th man replacement being Noah Martin. And the coach is Ricky Stewart. Solid Rays team. I genuinely, until proven otherwise, actually have this team as the premiership favourites right now. I know Dogs fans will hate that, considering that the Dogs did beat this team. The Raiders were up like 20-0 against the Dogs, and the Dogs came back on them. I just think that from what I've seen so far, I'm a bit more convinced in where the Raiders are maybe not heading is the right word, because I do think the Bulldogs are heading in a good direction. But I think that the Raiders currently just seem like a more solid team across the park. You know, they don't have the issues right now with the Galvin coming in and the situation with Toby Sexton and the Reid Marnie situation. And I don't know, I just feel a lot more comfortable saying that I'm pretty confident where the Raiders are situated right as we currently speak. And I personally would say that based off of how the season's gone so far, I would actually put this team to potentially win the comp, comparatively to the Storm, who should be a lot better than they have been. But then again, they had a good win on Friday against the Cowboys. And obviously also the Dogs. Don't even start with the Sharks, you scammers. Sharks, scamming bastards. Sharks, I'll tell you what, you're lucky it's got scam there and I just haven't removed you. You're lucky. You're lucky you haven't just been removed, to be fair. But look, the Rays have a very, very solid team across the 13, across the entire 17. And it's just littered with talent, man. So I think that everyone underrated the Rays going into the season. I predicted them for 9th, which was a lot higher than a lot of other people predicted them for, and I'm pretty happy with that prediction. Obviously, I think they're going to finish way higher than that now. I think they're a top 4 team, the Canberra Raiders, obviously, but I'm pretty happy with that prediction, giving them a chance to the top 8 again. I just didn't know if they were going to be able to get it this year. I did say on a postseason review last year that I thought the Raiders were going to be coming over the next couple of years. They have a young team, but I just didn't know it would be so soon, and it is so soon. So, well done to the Raiders in 2025. Now, the Rabbitohs in Cody Walker, Jack Whiten, and Tyrone Munrose, the 3 massive ins there, with the outs being a Bailey Bentley Hape, Campbell Graham, and a Jai Gray. So a couple of big outs there for the Rabbitohs, but some massive ins. The fullback is Latrell Mitchell, with the wingers being Alex Johnston and Isaiah Tass, centres of Jack Whiten and Tyrone Munro. Interesting to see that Tyrone Munro is playing in the centres here today rather than the wing. The 5'8" is Cody Walker, who is the captain, with the halfback being Jaden Sullivan. Front row forwards are Jai Arrow and Keon Kalamatangi, with the hooker being Saliva Havili. The back row is Ewan Aiken and Tallis Duncan, with the 13 being Lachlan Hubner. And the interchange is Jamie Humphreys on the bench. They've moved him to the 14, whilst pushing Jaden Sullivan to the starting halfback, which is really interesting. The rest of the interchange is Sean Kepi, Liam LeBlanc, and Tavita Totola, with the 18th man replacement being David Mawali, and the coach obviously is Wayne Bennett. I feel like I haven't watched a Rabbitohs game in ages, like I usually do pretty much every game, but I'm going to have a look at why I feel like I wasn't able to do last week's game. I remember that. But where's the Rabbitohs? What was it? Yeah, so last week that's right. It was I wasn't able to do that Warriors game 36-30, and then there was a bye before that. Okay, so yeah, it's been I think the last Rabbitohs game I actually streamed was the Broncos game, which is about a month ago. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this Rabbitohs team does get on. I predicted them for 7th preseason, which was kind of similar-ish. A lot of people probably haven't had them around 10th or 11th, based on the fact that yeah, they do have the loss of. Gee whiz, I can't think of his name right now. Cameron Murray. Cameron Murray in the 13, who is their captain and also just an absolute stalwart of the team, and New South Wales and Australia and whatnot. That was a big loss, but I just, backed in Wayne Bennett to still be able to make the 8 and to push his team into a competitive nature. And that's exactly what he's doing, because if you look at the ladder, which we'll get into in a second, the Rabbitohs may be in 12th position right now, but they can jump up into the top 6, man. So, that's how close this middle point of the table is. They can literally jump all the way up into the top 6. So, that's the Rabbitohs are just fine right now. It doesn't look pretty in regards to the actual official statistic of them being in 12th. However, I'm just throwing it out there. They can jump quite drastically today. Look, I am going to take the Raiders, but I do get a bit of a vibe, a little bit of a gut feeling here that maybe the Rabbits might be able to sneak it as well. The only issue for them is that their halves, I don't bank on Cody Walker and Jaden Sullivan. I don't think Cody's as good as he once was over the last few years, where they'll get into the grand final and prelim finals and whatnot. And I'm really not convinced that Jaden Sullivan is the starting 7 here for this team. Yes, obviously Trell's back down to fullback. I do love their 2 through 5. Alex Johnson, Jack White, and Tyrone Munro and Tass is really nice to watch. But Tass actually kind of usually plays centre. Tyrone Munro usually plays wing. So I'm interested to see why Isaiah Tass is here on the wing and Tyrone Munro is coming here into the centres, especially with Munro being a massive speedster. But he has been kind of littered with injuries recently, which hasn't been great to see. But that 1 through 5 is dynamic, man. I really like it. The forwards are a bit all over the shop, in my opinion. Hubner's fine. Tallis Duncan and Ewan Aiken's fine. And then Kalamatangi and Jai Arrow in the front row is also fine. And Saliva Havili in the hooker is fine. So I'm not really too convinced on this forward pack for the South Sydney Rabbitohs, but I'm sure they're going to be able to get what they need to do done. Also the interchange, Sean Kepi, LeBlanc and David Todola, it just doesn't get your blood buddy flowing, It doesn't get the juices going. You need the juices to get going here on a bit of Sunday footy in Canberra. And that's why I'm going to tip the Canberra Raiders. But I do get a bit of a vibe that the Rabbitohs might be up for this one. But I am going to tip the Raiders, and we all know in the NRL, anything can happen. We've seen ridiculous things happening, like the Gold Coast Titans playing a rugby league game, but also, like on Thursday where the Knights were down 16-0, worst attacking team of the competition, and came back to win that game in extra time. So against Manly Seagulls, who were meant to be a much better team than where they're situated, but the point is the Knights should never have been coming back there, and we've seen that many times throughout this season so far. So anything can happen, and I definitely think the Rabbitohs could win, but I will take the Raiders here at home. Now, the ladder, some big movements here. The Rabbitohs in 12th position. They're on 14 points, which is equal with the Dragons, the Roosters, the Seagulls, the Broncos, and also the Dolphins. So from 12th all the way up to 7th, that is the same amount of points on 14. But the Rabbitohs do have the worst points differential out of all those teams, which is really abhorrent. So they've got minus 58. The Dragons minus 47, the Roosters minus 22, the Manly Seagulls plus 42, and the Broncos, thanks to the Titans yesterday, plus 44, and the Dolphins, thanks to the Dragons on Friday night, are on plus 92 now, which is the second best points differential in the comp. Now, if the Rabbitohs were to win this game, they'd go to 16 points. They'd jump all of those teams. They'd also jump the Cowboys on 15th in 6th position, and they would also go into equal 5th with the Cronulla Sharks on 16 points, but the Sharks have a plus 14, whilst the Rabbitohs have a plus 58. So they would have to win this game effectively by like 70, 80 points to be going above the Sharks, which is just not happening. So the Rabbitohs with a win would go into 6th. Now, do any of those other teams still have to play? Roosters had a bye, Manly played, Broncos played, Dolphins played, and Cowboys played. So no, they would finish off the weekend there in 6th position, because we do still have 2 more games to go, which is the Tigers versus the Panthers later on today, and then on Monday we have the Bulldogs versus Eels. But none of those teams impact for the Rabbitohs if they are to win this game. If the Rabbitohs lose this, however, they will be susceptible here to the Tigers. So they're in 12th with minus 58 on 14, but the Tigers are in 13th on 12 points with minus 58 as well. Both teams have minus 58 points differential. So if the Rabbitohs lose this game, they won't go into 13th position today. But if the Tigers were, in this game, but if the Tigers beat the Panthers in the next game, the Tigers would actually go above the Rabbitohs. So they would drop down to 13th. Luckily enough, no one else in the Knights, Panthers, Eels, or Titans can go above them. I guess if the Panthers win, then they bring it back to 13, which is 1 point difference, and brings the Rabbitohs back into play. But for the time being, the Rabbitohs, if they lose, and the Tigers, they win today, the Rabbitohs would go into 13th. So you either drop off into just outside the bottom 4 in 13th, or you go up into the top 6. Wild. It's a wild thing to think about. On the other side, this is huge. The Raiders on 20 points. They're equal with the Melbourne Storm. They've got a plus 72 points differential, which is the third best points differential in the competition. With that being said, though, it's basically the equal best. So equal second best. No, what am I talking about? It's basically equal third best now with the Canberra Bulldogs with plus 74. I forgot about the Dolphins, and the Storm are plus 171, which is just ludicrous. So they're on plus 72. If they lose this game, they will stay in 4th, and that won't change because thanks to the Warriors yesterday getting a win over the Sharks are still on 16 points, and nobody else can get higher than that. Cowboys lost on Friday to Melbourne. So both the Sharks and Cowboys losing is huge there for the top 4 teams to really get that gap going. But if the Raiders win this game, there will be 3 teams equal on top of the table on 22 points, and the Raiders for today would go into the first position on the table. The Storm are on 20 points, but they will jump above them on 22 points. And Warriors and Bulldogs are both on 22. Now, the Warriors are a plus 35, better than their plus 5 they were before the Sharks game. Now they're plus 35, but still not good enough comparatively. And then you've got the Bulldogs on plus 74, but with the Raiders being plus 72, as long as they don't only win this game by 1 point, if they won this game by anything more, then they will go into first position. So this is a massive game for them. And then they will be the biggest Parramatta Squeals fans that you ever did Parramatta Squeal. They will be the biggest Squeals fans in the history of Squeal fans. The Raiders will be bigger Eels fans tomorrow than Eels fans. And that's not surprising considering, many Eels fans probably are off the Eels right now. So yeah, look, I'm going to tip the Raiders to go into first position. The game's about to start here. The Raiders are out in the field, so are the Rabbitohs. Go and hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Let's get into the Chatola. The Rabbitohs will be kicking the ball off first. Let's see Papali'i be the first runner of the ball. No? Okay. You cats. They didn't even kick it to him. That is soft, Rabbitohs. That is soft. You're giving the man. Gee whiz, Rabbitohs. Give Papali'i off the fence. Give it. Here he is. Now he gets his first run. Second tackle to the 15. Antonio says, hi from Scandinavia. Raiders to win. What? Raiders to win here. Please show the game. Entertain us. I need you to have a good word to yourself. Olivia Reed with a $3 donation. Get around you, Olivia. It's another day, another dono. Get around you, son. Get around you. We can be friends again now. We couldn't be friends yesterday. It was, I appreciate your support yesterday, despite the fact we weren't friends. But now we're back to being friends, Olivia. It's all right. You're back on a fraud alert. But Titans not playing Broncos, so don't worry. Give it about 5 weeks, and we're back to not being friends. But thank you for your donation. Rabbitohs now through Alex Johnson, who had a hat-trick last week, gets his ball out here to the 22. Ibrahim says, still bummed after yesterday, but have to move on. We will get them next week. Are you talking about the Titans? Are you talking about the Titans? Jack Kirkland says, Bronx back in the 8, how good. It's weird. It's so strange that, Broncos fans, it's great for them to be happy. Don't get me wrong. Rabbitohs here at the 40. It's great for Broncos fans to be happy, but on a realistic level, surely you need to see it against a good team. Surely you're not, it's not going to drastically change your opinion from the Manly game. Because Titans, they're abhorrent right now. The Titans are nearly at the worst. They're nearly looking like the worst Titans team that has ever graced the field of rugby league at the moment. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm sitting here shitting on my team for a reason, right? And I don't want to do this, but it's also just kind of a fact at this point, especially with their points differential being so bad. So it's congratulations, but also it's so close there in that mid part of the table, and you still haven't proven shit yet. Let's just see how they go against who do they play next week, actually? Who do the Bronx play? So 4 tackle now at the 45, and that's not even me trying to shit on you. That's just me trying to say there's a reason for the fraud alerts there. It's because of the Manly game and through the season so far, and I'm not willing to get rid of that based off of beating the Gold Coast. So I said I just changed my tip to the Rabbitohs. Oh, Sundo. Oh my gosh, Sundo tipping the Rabbitohs over the Raiders. What are you doing? I do get a bit of a vibe they're up for this game, though. I did say it, but the Raiders are going to have a bit of a vibe to take the Rabbitohs back into their own 10. It'll be first tackle for the Rabbitohs at the 8. I'm going to skip through a couple of these comments here. Casey says, love the scam alert. Not a scam alert. No, Casey. No. Don't be silly. Don't be silly. It's not a scam alert. It is confirmed scam. Sharks are confirmed scam. Big scammers. Big, massive scammers. Rabbitohs now 4 tackle here at the 30. No. This is a serious channel, mate. Come on. Buddy, scam alert. No scam alert. Massive scammers, man. I tipped them for first place in the preseason. I still think they've got one of the most balanced rosters in the park, but I tell you what, they are confirmed scammers for sure. And that will be a penalty to the Rabbitohs here at the 40. That's huge. Huge. Casey says it was a very disappointing game last night. Last night or last 15 years? A lot of forward passes by the Bronx that went uncalled, but we obviously weren't the better team. I absolutely agree. Again, yeah, sure, there was a few forward passes that weren't called that led to Broncos tries, but the Titans were just nowhere close to being good enough to win that game. Prey says that draw is saving the Cowboys with that logjam right behind them. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, it's huge. And it even helps the Panthers, even though their points differential isn't awful down there. It does help the Panthers to just scoot past teams like the Dolphins on plus 92 and the Broncos on plus 44 and Manly on plus 42. They're not there just yet, but if they win today, they would be right behind those teams and be able to jump them very quickly. Second tackle of the Rabbitohs at the 22. They go out to the left-hand side. Cody Walker, Latrell Mitchell, Jack Whiten. And Whiten's going to be 5 metres out from the line, third tackle. Good start here for the Rabbits. Good start. Here we go. They go out to the right. Latrell Mitt, Cody Walker, Lachlan Hubner, Jaden Sullivan goes himself, and it'll be 4 tackles. Still confused why Jamie Humphries is in the 14. Can a Rabbitohs fan explain to me why Humphries is 14 and Jaden Sullivan is 7? Kalomatangi with the try right next to the post. And gee whiz, I blame Sundo. Try time for South Sydney. They take the lead and they're right next to the post, so it will be 6-0 any moment now. Good try there by the Big Bopper. He's trying to get him potentially a spot in the New South Wales team. Just unfortunately, I just don't think he's going to be able to do it, considering they won the last 3 games in a row, and there's no point changing a winning roster at New South Wales. I know you might be infamous for it, but Kalomatangi is a guy that you definitely would want amongst it. But Max King is kind of the only player that he could be taken over for there, and Max King played just fine in Origin Game 1 and doesn't deserve to lose his spot. But Keon Kalomatangi is an absolute beast. Mitchell Sports says, how did you pull up after last night? I'm still trying to pull up, mate. Still trying to pull up now. Belky Sports, hello, Mr. Streamer. Hello, sir. Muzzle flashes is Lachlan Galvin. That's possibly the worst spelling of Lachlan I've ever seen in my life. Playing 5'8" for the Tigers today. Yeah, Lachlan Galvin doesn't play for the Tigers, mate. So it's 6-0 here for the Rabbitohs with 34 minutes to go at the first half. They do get the keep. I think that tells you everything you need to know, mate, that he's not playing today, and that is because, Lachlan Galvin, I don't know if you've been living under a rock, but if you've been living under a tent, you probably may still not know. But if you're living under a rock, you still should know. No. Even if you live in Tanzania, I think even if you lived not in Pluto, but a planet even further that's not considered a planet, that's even smaller, I think even then, with no Wi-Fi, still know about Lachlan Galvin going to the Canterbury Bulldogs. I think they still know out there. You could go to another galaxy, far away, Star Wars style, far away, and you can see Galvin with his haircut at the Dogs, with the Dogs jersey. I think that's probably what the case is. So left-hand side now for the Rabbitohs, and they bring it out here to the 20. Cool Cat says, I'm not happy about it because my little brother goes to the Dogs. Thank you, Jay. I will refresh the scoreboard. Thank you for finally letting me know eventually. Deary me, Jay. You got to get with the times, dude. You really got to get with those times. So it's Rabbitohs at the 44 on 4 tackle. Olivia Reed says, you know what made it worse for the Gold Coast fans who did travel down? They decided to close the train lines to the Gold Coast for Cross River Rail this week. Queensland Rail and Muppets. It's not surprising. No, it's not surprising. It's always impacting games in southeast Queensland. on weekends, unfortunately. That is going to be a really good kick there for the Rabbitohs, and KO Weeks is going to get taken back into the in goal. That is a fantastic kick from South Sydney, and they've started off absolutely rocking at the moment. A6 Ankle says, "G'day mate, hope you're going well. No hangover after those 7:30 tequila shots." Well, I do have a coffee here, and I did wake up 20 minutes before this game started. So, take that for what you will. But a dropout coming up here from the Raiders to the Rabbitohs. Thank you very much, Toby Stevens, for becoming a member. Toby Stevens says, "Broncos winning wasn't the worst part of the stream yesterday, though." Oh no, what happened? I can't remember. Oh, it's going to be a great dropout from Canberra. And Jairo lets the ball bounce underneath him, and it goes all the way back to the 35 on his own side of the field. So now they get the first tackle at the 50. What was the worst part of the stream yesterday? I'm grateful for your sportsmanship and help in reviving our season, hopefully. I'm dedicated to not reviving your season, actually. A second tackle now, but I appreciate the comment. Very dedicated. Like, it's my lifelong dream and passion to not revive the Broncos season, but my lifelong dream and passion, I believe that we set you up with a false sense of security. That's what I think. And now the Titans are going to run home like a train from here on out. So out to the right-hand side, and it's going to be 6 again for the Rabbitohs. Jai Arrow, he'll flip the ball back across to Cody Walker down the left. Gives it off to Tallis Duncan, who is 15 metres out here from the line. Great start here for the South Sydney. Fantastic start. Hubner, 10 metres out, third tackle. Jason, the tribe on North Sentinel Island knew Galvin went to the Dogs. They did, yeah, no. North Sentinel Island, big fans of Lachlan Galvin. They actually have like shrines dedicated to Lachlan Galvin there at North Sentinel Island. That's a penalty to the Rabbitohs, basically in front of the sticks. I would take the 2 here. I'd take the 2. I'd make it 8-0. You make it 8-0 early. Set a precedent. It was Gary's shiny head. Hey, Gary's not even awake to get back at you at the moment, Toby. It's 11 a.m. here in Thailand. I think we're like 8 hours in front of England. So what would it be? Like, shit, my brain's off it right now. What would it be, 3 a.m.? It would be 3 a.m. or something like that. All right, so it's going to be a penalty, and they will take the 2. Praises 2 for Titans versus Manly. Don't trust either team with a 30-point head start. I don't trust the Titans with a 70-point head start in the first half. I wouldn't trust the Titans with anything right now. No way. No way. Who do the Bronx play next week? The Bronx play the bye next week. Lovely. The Bronx play round 16? They play the Sharks. Okay, wow, that's a big game. That is a big game between 2 disappointing teams so far this season. Broncos versus Sharks. It's Senkup. All right, so from just to the right of the post here, he will get the kick. So it is 8-0 South Sydney. 10 minutes into the game here, folks. Hit that like button and subscribe. 10 minutes into the game, 8-0 to South Sydney. Even Darth Vader knows Galvin is at the Dogs. Darth Vader is unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how your view of him is, dead. He is dead, Darth Vader, so he definitely would know. He would 100% know. But North Sentinel Islands, they're still talking about it. Toby says, "What a start, Rabbitohs." Gary shiny head. Ibrahim says, "Toby vs Gary is better than Gallon and Sonny Bill." It was just so random yesterday. It was so random. So Canberra will kick this ball off, and the Rabbitohs bring it out from their own in goal. Cody Walker gives it to Jai Arrow. Jai Arrow looks so different at the moment. That's a low blow. Gary hasn't even polished his head yet. Deary me, bro. Deary me. And now you've got like an army of people insulting Gary. Now you've got an army of people insulting Gary, Toby. It's rough times for Gaz. But he is English, so it's okay. He is English. Oh, God help that man or any English here when we do the Ashes later on this year. God help him, man. So it's 4th tackle for the Rabbitohs at the 40, and they give up to Jai Arrow. He'll be at the 50 on 5th tackle. Ibrahim says, "What did Gary do?" Gary did nothing. He literally just is bald, and Toby came in yesterday out of nowhere. That'll be a 7 tackle set for the Raiders. Not a good kick there for the Rabbitohs. It'll be a 7 tackle set coming up for the Raiders. We're literally just enjoying a fantastic Titans versus Broncos game yesterday. Unbelievable game. And Toby just randomly started saying that Gary's bald. And talking about shining his head and going to Turkey to fix his hair. You know, this is what that stream turned us into. Travsy's in support of Gary. Get into him. So first tackle now for the Raiders, and they'll be at the 40. Broncos at home again. I'm shocked. Yeah, Mitchell. No, it's a surprise. Broncos don't usually get to play at Suncorp Stadium. No. That's really impressive. Really impressive. It's been unfair the Broncos don't get as many home games. So really good to see they get that home game against the Sharks in a couple of weeks. But it is a 6 again. I'm pretty certain the bye is also a home game for the Broncos. The bye is definitely a home game for the Broncos as well. So they get a good little bit of a run here. Second tackle for the Raiders, 32 metres out. Here's your chance. Here is your chance. Jamal Fogarty off to Corey Horsburgh, and he'll be 25 metres away, third tackle. I hope you're doing well, Blaze. On the bright side, after this workout retreat, you'll be so jacked the Titans will sign you up for a contract and you can guide them to a premiership. It's an option. It's an option. Get Steve Mitchell on the phone now. Joe Tarpany, he's going to be 5 metres out from the line, fit tackle. Don't think he's going to be a massive fan of me right now, but with that being said, is what it is. They kick this ball into the corner. Chance! No, bad kick. It'll be 7 tackle set coming up for the Rabbitohs. Not a good kick at all. Yeah, no, definitely get me in the back row. Get me in the back row. I'm probably not going to be too great of a halfback or a 5'8", or a hooker, or pretty much any position on the field ever. But I can be a good water boy. That's a really good position for me. Wait, Gary's British? I thought he was Polish. Okay, you can time me out. Oh, Polish. Yeah, you do deserve a timeout for that. That is a timeout-worthy offence. You're lucky we're very gracious and compassionate here on BK Sport. We won't time you out for that one. Also, that says Polish, not Polish. Actually, no, it says Polish. I should time myself out now. My brain. You know your Thai. You know what Thailand can be like. Third tackle, hit the 45. Third tackle. For some reason, I thought... Anyway, don't worry. You know what? Forget me. So Rabbitohs here will be at the 30 on 4 tackle. It was just far too shiny. Lager Baltic says, hey, I heard there was meant to be some snow in Canberra today. Is there any? Not the one you're talking about. I would have no idea. It doesn't look like it's snowing in Canberra at the moment. Jaden Sullivan over the top to Grassy McGrath. Grassy McGrath back into the play, back on the Dally M leaderboard. Grassy McGrath, it hits the ground and over the sidelines. The Raiders will get the ball now at the 25 or so. No, literally at basically the 20. But Grassy McGrath, really impressive stuff there to get that ball against the run and play. And now the Raiders will have it at the 25. Oh no, the Raiders have lost the ball. And it's going to be a penalty to Canberra instead. Penalty to Canberra instead. Mitchell Vela Sport says, last night you said how much you love the Broncos. No, I was talking about your mum. No, I wasn't talking about the Broncos, mate. But it is a penalty to the Raiders at the 25, and they're going to challenge this here, South Sydney. They are going to challenge this here. And there is an injury as well for the player. God bless him, hope he's alright. I don't know what's actually happened here. So it's Savelio Tamale. He's coming down here. He's just kind of lost. I don't think Ewan Aiken has stripped this ball. I'm pretty certain that this will be a successful challenge. Or there's no hand. Yeah, it's a loose carry. So it's going to be a successful challenge here, and it does go backwards though. So it should still be Raiders' ball, but it does still go backwards. Oh, no, you'd class it as a knock-on. Yeah, they will class it as a knock-on. So the Rabbitohs will get the challenge there, and they will get the ball now. They will get the ball. But Tamale is also injured, and he's been having a great year. So 14 minutes in here, still 8-0. Rabbitohs get another chance. Oh no, Olivia's timed out Travsy. Well, Travsy, you did ask. You did say that Olivia still had a timeout power, and and Olivia's just timed you out just to show you. And Olivia has just timed you out just to show you. Crazy, Olivia. Crazy that you do that. Jared Farm Money says, must be an awkward landing on Tamale's legs with the third man in. I don't know if it was his, like... I don't know if that was... sorry, I'm looking at the chat. I don't know if that was his shoulder or his leg at first. No, I'm going to read the... I'm going to go put this on Google Translate. There is an injury here still. I originally thought there's something up with his shoulder, but no, it's something to do with his legs here. Tie to English translator. Tie to English translator. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Pray we don't do squiggles is crazy. The Tamale's still just trying to walk. Might be, is it like his ankle or something? Let me see how it is. That happens to Skunkle all the time, don't worry. We do that with Skunkle all the time. It's very funny. Olivia says, no bets today, just going to enjoy the games and Sunday Muppet fun. Yes, well, sometimes you got to do that. Like, it's, sometimes you got to, yeah, no, he is coming off the field here, Tamale. God bless him. He will come off the field here for the Raiders. And I don't think he's going to be coming back here today. But sometimes you've got to do that where you don't bet on every single game. Because if you bet on every single game, you're screwed. This is a difficult game to read, as you've seen. The Raiders were heavy favourites. They could go into the top of the table. Right now, Dogs fans are cheering, chirping, happy days because they're Rabbitohs are up 8-0, which is preventing the Raiders from going into the top of the table. But you know, the next game, Panthers Tigers, isn't exactly something that gets you going too much. A team, two teams in the bottom four? Where are the Tigers? Tigers are in 13th, and the Panthers are in 15th. Well, whoever loses is in the bottom four. So take it that way. Don't really get you going that one. But the Rabbitohs now will be 18 metres out here from the Raiders line. It's not squiggles, it's barbed wire. Basically, what Pro was saying was that Gary has a shiny head. This is wild. So second tackle now for South Sydney at the 20. You couldn't have asked for much better of a start than this, especially if they score here and make it a 14-0 game in Canberra. Try time for Alex Johnston. Alex Johnston will score. It's 12-0 with the kit to come. I should have gone with my gut. 12-0 to the Rabbitohs with the kit to come. It's from the far left, so it's not an easy kick for Latrell Mitchell to get. Hey, Bulldogs fans, they're partying shirtless right now. They've got no shirts on. Because they would be cheering like crazy for the Rabbitohs to win this game. Jared Farmoni says, good decision not to bet Olivia. Just enjoy this cruisy Sunday. Well, I bet you, Olivia, that you would have tipped and bet on the Raiders, so you would have lost. Because right now they're not looking, well, not you would have lost, but they're not looking great. Prey says, Alex Johnson should be Hall of Fame after retirement, best winger. Well, not the best winger ever. We'll retire with the most tries ever, but I wouldn't say that, like, if you're doing a draft of all-time wingers, I don't know if you take him anywhere close to top 10, even despite the fact, like, for example, Ken Irvine is number one winger of all time on the try-scoring list. I don't think necessarily, well, he'd probably get picked in the top 10, to be fair. He would. But just because they've got a whole bunch of tries doesn't always necessarily mean that, like, for example, Brian To'o is nowhere near the top of that list, but yet Brian To'o is definitely going to be selected pretty high up there. You know, there's also players like Hasem, who was all for a whole different purpose. And anyway, he's going to miss the kick, so it stays 12-0. Point is, I wouldn't select Alex Johnson top 10, but that doesn't take away from how good he is. I just think that's how good that left-hand side is for the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Bulldogs fans own shirts. Oh, Mitchell, I don't know. It's debatable. Very debatable. Very debatable. Oh, that's very early days. Raiders can definitely still win this, Bailey. I already said that. Yeah, no, I agree. This game is nowhere near over. It's only 12 points. I'm taking Bryce Goodwin and Aaron Gray over Johnston. Okay, well, this is why we don't ask you your opinion. Michael Paul says, booyah, I hope the Rabbits win, then my team stay second on the ladder. Oh, yeah, that's also right. The Warriors fans are big Rabbitohs fans today as well. Forgot about that. Say equal first. Say equal first, Michael. Just own it. Own that shit. Equal first with the Dogs, mate. Own it. Hasmel Masri is the greatest winger of all time. Well, he's not Alofiana Khan-Pereira, but Hasmel Masri was absolutely fantastic winger. But I think that, like, if you're talking about, because who's another one? Sammy Radradra would have, I believe, if Sammy Radradra had have stayed on the wing at the Eels and not gone to rugby union, I believe he would have been the best winger in NRL. I genuinely believe he would have been the best winger in rugby league history if Sammy Radradra had to stay on the wing there. For the Eels, or just stayed in rugby league, but obviously that wasn't to be. And that's a 6 again for the Rabbitohs. The Raiders are all over the shop right now, man. Rabbitohs are all over them. It's only 2 convert try game, and luckily they got that penalty thanks to Nate J and the Dragons. But the Rabbitohs now second tackle at the 35. Livy says it is Sunday nap time, so maybe they are sleeping. Well, hopefully the Raiders can keep this game interesting. Otherwise, we're all going to be wishing we were sleeping too. Out to Latrell Mitchell, then to Tyrone Munro. Munro nearly gets through. Will be third tackle, 28 metres away. Praises, what does the team have to do for Fraud Alert to be taken down? I get consistency would be a priority, but what else? It's just like a vibe. You just need to see the vibe. Because technically speaking, we could be putting the Cowboys there, but I think that. Oh, 1 second here, Tyrone Munro. He'll be taken down. No, sorry, Isaiah Tass. He'll be 8 metres away from the line, fit tackle. Rolls back to Saliva Havili. Havili to Cody Walker. Cody Walker kicks it through, and it will be a dropout. Fogarty swings it away, and it will go over the dead ball for a dropout. You just have to have a kind of vibe. The Cowboys, I think, if they lose next week, they might have a bye next week, because next week is the week before State of Origin Game 2. Why is there so many clock stops here? I don't understand why they keep stopping the clock. Who do the Cowboys play the Dolphins next week? If the Cowboys lose the game to the Dolphins, they're on fraud alert. They're on fraud alert then. Because then that would have been a real struggle, nearly comeback from the Tigers into a Storm loss, into a Dolphins loss. And you don't want to be seeing a kick-a-care. You don't want to be seeing no kick-a-care celebration at the top. From Hamiso, so I would put the Dolphins there. But to take a team off, to knock on there from the Rabbitohs off the dropout, and Raiders get the ball here at the 25. It's just a bit of a vibe. You just need to know it. Mitchell Sports says, what will your dream Gold Coast team be? Okay. Ibrahim says, lagging, yes, but no injuries have really ruined him. He has reached that level since he was in the Storm. Wait, what's Lagan said? Wait, Lags and Josh Adokar, top 10 wingers of all time, no jokes. Disagree, but I think that he was unbelievable in his prime. But disagree. By far. He's not even. I would say that there's plenty of players that you put in the top 10. It's very hard when you commentate to think of all the players of all time on the wing, because there's so many. There is so many that you would put up there. I'll have a look in a second. And Rabbitohs grab this ball here at the 5. Oh, wow, that's great defense there from Joe Tarpon. He actually ended up taking Trell back into the in-goal here. Best NRL wingers all time. Brett Morris. Yeah, Brett Morris is definitely there. 100%. Oh, yeah, the big Dell, Wendell Saylor. Lottie Takiri. Matty Singh. Manu Vatuvai. I do think that Daniel Tupou could etch his name into the conversation at some point. Prey says, basically, if they lose too many games, they probably should win. I get the vibe check. It's all about, it's all about if you are expected to be a good team and you're not being a good team, well, guess what? You're on fraud alert. So out of the right side, Tom Starling, Josh Papali'i, third tackle here, 8 minutes away from the line for the Raiders. 20 minutes to go in the first half. Hit that like button and subscribe. 20 minutes to go. Corey Oates is not... Brother, you're not putting Corey Oates... What? Corey Oates is getting put into this conversation. Corey Oates. Olivia loves Corey Oates, but Corey Oates is not... I'm sorry. Good winger, but Corey... I knew Olivia would say something. Corey Oates being discussed in the top 10 wingers of all time is insanity. Insanity. So 4 metres away from the line, third tackle. Tom Starling, Corey Horsburgh! Jay's favourite player, 2 metres out, fourth tackle for the Raiders. Tom Starling, that was a weird pass. It actually worked out, nearly no! And it will be Trell Mid actually getting out of the end goal, so it's going to be first tackle here for the Rabbitohs at the 2. Corey Oates is crazy. Damn. Marcus Bye for the Storm back in the day was unreal. Oh yeah, Nathan Merritt, Rabbitohs. Nathan Blacklock. Corey Oates is insane. You're going to stream the Test Championship? Maybe. Yeah, I think I might be doing one of the streams with Zach from Real Fan Sports. Because I don't really do a great deal of cricket here. We do cricket, so I might do it. But if not, I'll probably be on his channel for a bit. And the Raiders now will be at the 11, and he'll bring it back here, KO Weeks to the 25 to 30. First tackle. Not gonna lie, I think that timeout got me a little excited. Yeah, well, Travsy, it's Olivia's fault. Out of the left-hand side now for the Raiders. They're gonna be at the 50. Now at the 45, second tackle. Night Rice says 2 very intense games back to back. Was always hard to get up for this one. Bunny's tip looking good right now, but still early. Well, knock on from the Raiders is making Bunny's tip look even better. Khan will be in the top 10 in the future, I reckon. Love Loft. Loft's a great dude. I think he is a great try scorer. I think that defensively he's got a lot to work on, but then again, so does everyone on the Gold Coast Titans. So, you know, long way to go, but absolutely try scorer wise, he's up there. He might be up there with the best of them, but then again, the Titans need to, you know, fix themselves to give him those opportunities. Speaking of top players, you reckon Cleary's the best halfback of all time? I don't say anything until they've actually completed their career, because Cleary's stocks have slipped a little bit. 4 tackle. But I will say that by the end of his career for sure. 4 tackle now, 12 metres away. Because Cooper Cronk definitely still has a name to chase down. Jonathan Thurston, you know, Andrew Johns. These guys all have names to chase down. Out to the left-hand side. Chance Cody Walker flicks it on to Alex Johnston. Good little flick on there from Latrell Mitchell. I don't know what Johnston's doing, and that's going to go over the sideline. That was ridiculous. There's a bloke that's got 17 grand riding on a Raiders win. What were the Raiders paying in this game? They would have been paying what? Like maybe $1.40? $1.30, 40? They would have been heavy favourites. 17 grand on $1.40 is what profit? 170, 340, 680. So he's risked 17 grand. So that's 1,700. So what? 6,800. Okay. But the Rabbitohs, yes, they're in 12th, but also can go up to 6th with a win here. It was the last leg of a big multi. Oh, okay, it was a multi. I thought you were saying that he's put 17,000 itself, which is a random number, but 17,000 straight on the win. So 4 tackle now at the 40. Corey Horsper. Then again, if you're betting with that money, that's like us betting with $20 if you're betting with 17,000. Yeah, they were heavy favourites. Yeah, I'm pretty like from what I would say, I'd probably suggest based off of how odds and stuff work, I would have probably said they were around the $1.40 mark. Considering the Rabbitohs did concede 36 last week to the Warriors, Raiders were playing for the first position on the table. They are at home. They are in Josh Papali'i's 319th game, and the Raiders have been the better team this season. I would have expected them to be about $1.40. It's always that last leg that loses. It is always the last leg that's a worry. Especially, you would scream though, like if your last leg was Raiders at home in Josh Papali'i's 319th game, the highest cap player in their team's history, whilst playing for first position on the table, and you lose the $1.30, $1.40 option, that would just be out of this world. That'd be disgraceful. It'd be disgraceful. It would be disgraceful. And now second tackle here at the 20 for the Raiders. Again, they're only down by 12. There's a long way to go here. But they have been a lot more error-riddled than you would normally expect from Canberra. And sometimes teams just go through that. Hudson Young with a good ball to the 20. Oh, Tama. Oh, no. No, it's not an ACL, dude. Savelia Tamale is out with an ACL, unfortunately. So if that's the case, he won't be back this season. Oh, that's a big kick. Trell, good catch at the 10. Wow, I don't know how they caught it. That was awful camera work, by the way. Awful camera work from Fox. We didn't even get to look at the kick. But Trell Mitchell, that was a really good take. Ray's probably going to come back, to be honest. Why do you say that? They haven't done anything to show that. And actually, they were up 20-0 against the Bulldogs and threw away the 20-point lead. So, why do you say that? Jab Farmone says, let's hope the Raiders can break their milestone curse, but it is an 80-minute game. Milestone curse? I think most teams have a milestone curse, man. Everyone always expects a team to get up and at them. The only teams, when it's a milestone, that I will say are pretty much guaranteed to win are the Sydney Roosters and Melbourne Storm. And there's a reason for that over history, but it's like those two teams are the only ones who consistently will win on a milestone game. Raiders on scam watch, Daz. Don't be silly. Don't be silly. You need some real consistent fraud alerts. Massive. You need some massive consistency on fraud alerts before you can start looking at scam. And they're not scam yet. Damn, that sucks. Tamale was having such an awesome season. That is rough. He was probably front runner for Rookie of the Year. I would say that Savali Tamale would he have been rookie? Did he not play last year for a bit? Has he not played a couple of games last year? Anyway, he probably was. I don't know if he played enough games last year. No, he didn't play. Because this is his first year here for the Raiders, and he was at the Dragons. But he played for the Dragons like a couple of times, didn't he? I can't remember. Out to the left to Hudson Young with a dink over the top, and it'll be Trell who grabs it at the 10, brings it up to the 15, then to the 20. First tackle. Let's hope it's not a complete tear. Oh, knock on from the Rabbitohs, which gives the Raiders an opportunity now. 20 metres out. Bailey says, no, mate, it's only 12 points. Rabbitohs know how to choke. Desmond says game is obviously over, Bailey. Yeah, very much over. There's only 53 minutes to go here of the game. And it is a massive, massive blowout scoreline of 12-0 right now. WST's up to Wise. Yeah, well, you're happy right now. You want the Rabbitohs to win, but you're not happy with the knock-on from the Rabbitohs because now the Raiders are on the line. And here's their chance to get back into it. 20 metres out. Wise and Bulldogs finals. Oh, mate, that's a ripper prediction considering they're first and second right now. There is only like 13 rounds to go after this. We're quite literally at the halfway point of the season, but it's a bold prediction to be tipping the two teams in first and second. Raiders over the sideline of grasping across. Dallion points in hot. Tamale and Halasima at the top of the Rookie of the Year. Well, then you'd be giving it to Halasima now, unfortunately. And I do think that Tamale probably would have got it over the top of him. Even though Halasima has been incredible for the Wires, I do think that Savannah Tamale, based off what we've seen so far, was going to probably have the bigger Rookie of the Year season. But obviously not anymore, unfortunately. But I hope they unfortunately got it wrong. Jared Farmoni says Tamale has only played one game last year, so he's definitely en route to compete for Rookie of the Year. Yeah. I knew he played at some point. I didn't know it was only one game. Well, I was going to buy 2 next week, I think. Pretty much every team and their dog has a bye next week, man. Because next week is the week before Origin. So who is on the bye next week? You've got the Raiders, the Warriors, the Storm, the Tigers, the Panthers, the Eels, and the Broncos. And Manly as well get the bye, as they get to play at Seabus Super Stadium. All right, so the Rabbitohs at the 45. It's 4 tackle. Now, Keon Kolomatangi, he'll get this ball into the attacking half. I don't know about the Warriors. The one game they played Melbourne, they got destroyed. Sure, but they also proved a lot yesterday. There is a concern. Oh, that's going to drop. It's going to go over the. It's going to go out the full. Damn, that's a bad kick there from the Rabbitohs. You saw that Xavier Savage slipped over, and I thought he made a mistake, but ball went out in the full. Sure, Ibrahim, but they've lost to the Raiders twice. Yes, there's a concern there for the Warriors. Yes, they've also gotten pumped by the Melbourne Storm. Major concern. But they also pumped the Sharks, who are the next best team outside of that top 4. They haven't played the Bulldogs yet. They don't play the Bulldogs till round 23. So there is still a lot to prove for the Warriors, but yesterday was a really good sign to do that. The Sharks are all over the place. But yesterday was a great sign for the Warriors to at least beat a top 5 team. Because that's their first top 5 win of the season. Yes, it comes against a team that is lower than them on the table and has a significant amount of problems, whilst they haven't won against a team that is above them. But long way to go for them to sort that shit out. And if they play like they did yesterday, they'll be all over it. 10 minutes to go here in the first half. Hit that like button, subscribe. 10 minutes to go. Jamal Fogarty off to Ethan Strange, and then Hudson Young. He'll flip the ball out to Jamal Fogarty at the 20. He's going to kick it over the top here for himself. There's no fullback. Oh, wait. What was that from Jamal? There was a fullback. I don't know why he did that. Now, they won the second half and got the last try, and we all know last try wins. That is true. Also, are you talking about... Who are we talking about here? Danny Bates says, surely a fitted Trell is only a bonus for SS? Oh, South Sydney. Has he shown it yet, or is it attitude with him? Doesn't he apply himself enough? I think he's been good today. I still believe that Trell's a centre and not a fullback, but, obviously I understand why the Rabbitohs do keep him in the fullback. With that being said, they do have Jai Gray. He is out, but they still put Trell there in fullback over Jai, despite having a fantastic start of the season when Trell wasn't there. So the Raiders on 5 minutes out from their own line, first tackle. Don't forget, we'll be live at the Tigers versus Panthers game right after this as well. And Xavier Savage brings it out now to the 20. Travis said, I think getting beaten by the Dogs and Raiders through the year will help for final. Let's do that again in English, Travsy. Let's do that. Let's try that comment again, but this time in English. This is an English-speaking channel. So third tackle, and Corey Horsburgh, now fourth at 33. Are the Raiders the only team that hasn't had a bye? Have they not had a bye yet? Yeah? Oh, no. And the Raiders are away. Raiders are away. Back on the inside, Ethan Strange. Ethan Strange. Oh! No! Oh, Ethan Strange shouldn't have passed that ball. He actually just would have scored if he dummied it. But unfortunately, Adam Mariota will drop the ball there. That was a try. That was a try coming up. But unfortunately, it's a knock-on. Chuan says, what happened to Tamale? Unfortunately, they said it might be an ACL. Unfortunately, it might be an ACL here, Chuan. So he definitely won't be back today. But there is a potential he won't be back for the rest of the season. Oh, dude, if Ethan Strange had just dummied that and gone it himself, he would have scored. You make the decision there. The decision wasn't wrong. It's just the pass wasn't good enough, and it's wet weather, and Trell did really good to put the pressure on in the middle. Wait, what's happening here? This game is just messed up with stoppages. Like, I don't know why it's all stoppages, but there's stoppages galore in this game. Alex Johnson is a better fullback, Dasmate says. Okay, well, you know what? You know what, Daz? Chuck Alex Johnson into the sentence there for New South Wales. How about that? How about you take Trell out and you put Alex Johnson in? How about that, Daz? I think it's a great suggestion. Now, I may be a Queenslander and a biased Queenslander, but I think it's a great suggestion. Put Alex Johnson in for Trell. How about that one? I like that. I like that. First bye for the Raiders next week. But actually, no, they are the only team without a bye. Sorry, I was seeing them with 13 alongside the Warriors and the Sharks and whatnot, but that's not including this game. So, yeah, no, the Raiders are the only team with a bye because they would have played 14 games by the end of this. So that's huge, man. That is huge. The Dogs have played 11. They go to 12, so they will be... Have the Dogs had 2 byes? Or is my brain just not braining right now? Sebastian Chris gets his ball to the 25. Bailey says, terrible take. What's the terrible take? Are you saying that... What terrible take have I made here, sir? What's a terrible take? Oh, she's saying... Daz, I don't know what it is, but people just can't see your sarcasm through the screen. To be fair, though, Daz does believe that Alex Johnson is the better centre than Trell. And fullback, yeah. Bailey says that Johnson is a better fullback. Hey, how about this one? I'll argue for Daz here. Fit tackle for the Raiders of the 40. I'll argue for Daz here. Has Trell ever played fullback for Papua New Guinea? Has Trell ever played fullback at international level? I think I rest my case. Alex Johnson, better fullback of all time. International game's the peak, obviously. And you've got Alex Johnson playing fullback, Papua New Guinea consistently. Trell Mitt never played fullback at the international level. I think it's time New South Wales make the switch. I think it's time. Tasman said, I said fullback, not centre. Semantics. Semantics. That is absolute semantics. Big semantics. 4 tackle now at the 18, sorry. Keonka Lomotangi. Is the Pope Catholic? Well, he's actually Catholic, Daz. You've said Catholi, which is not actually a religion. Catholicism and Catholic, yes, the Pope is. But Catholi? No, he's not actually, no. Brain not braining? Damn, that's pretty serious. Yeah, it's pretty serious here on BK Sport. It does happen quite a bit, Daniel. First tackle over the Raiders, 5 minutes to go the first half. But then again, I'm in Thailand, so you can understand. It's a crazy country, man. It's a crazy country. What about an Indigenous versus Māori? Not international game. But technically he's international, just not international. So unless you get the Indigenous, or actually, he would have played fullback for the Indigenous All Stars, but exhibition. Corey Horsburgh at the back to Ethan Strange, gives it off again. And Simi Sasangi is going to be 5 minutes out. By the way, it wasn't Mariota before. It was Simi Sasangi who shot the ball. Fit tackle. Hudson Young will float it across to Jamal Fogarty. He'll put that ball up in the air. It's a good kick. And drop out coming up. Drop out coming up. Case says, what's your bandana? Is it like a flag or just a pattern? Looks good. This is just a waving flag, mate. Like the 2010 South Africa World Cup. It's just a pattern. I've got about 5 different bandanas here. A friend of mine here in Hua Hin said he's going to give me his Ice Cube one. So I'll wear that for the next stream. Well, not the next stream, but tomorrow. He's got an Ice Cube Compton buddy bandana. He's from the LA area. Oh, he's more so from San Diego, but still, he told me he's gonna give me his Ice Cube bandana. So that's what I'm gonna wear next time. So out to the left, he's going to Woodstock. Mate, what a time to be alive. Second tackle here, 15 minutes away. Hasn't been a try scorer in a very long time. There's 3 minutes left in the first half. This would be a huge game-changing try if they can score right before half-time here, the Raiders. Not Hudson Young, that is Morgan Smithies at the 5. They give it out to 6 again for the Raiders. They're 9 minutes away. This is your chance right now. Now 3 meters away here from the line. Second tackle, Sundo is squeaky bum time as he's tipped the Rabbitohs. If the Raiders score here, he might be done at dust. Gale Weeks, Matty Tomoko, good tackle by Jack Whiten. They're 5 meters away. That's a knock on. That's a penalty. Sundo says keep him out. No. It's not how it works around here. I was wondering if the fitness retreat is a little spiritual. No, it is not a spiritual retreat. But when I'm in Vietnam, might do something like that. Jamal Fogarty out to Ethan Strange. Ethan Strange here. Ethan Strange! Shot time! Raiders! Slap, it's a little vegan. You're an idiot. But it's a try time there for the Raiders. 4 points. And they are well and truly back into this one. If they get the kick, they'll only be down by 6. And Sundo, dear me, this is why you don't start yapping too early, son. You don't start yapping too early. Still will never forgive you for that G goal. Never forgive you for that G goal. I don't care if Man City go on to win 10 Champions Leagues in a row by beating Sunderland. I'll still never forgive it. Ah, boy, Strange the freak. Well, Strange, I haven't been a great deal impressed with him in a lot of games this season. Obviously, he's still been a key part of the reason why the Raiders could go into first position today. However, there's been a lot of games where I haven't been too impressed by Ethan Strange. He's a great talent, great prospect, great up-and-comer, and he's killing it for Canberra overall. But the last couple of games, he's improved drastically. I do think there was a period throughout the season, even when they were winning games, where I wasn't too impressed with Ethan Strange. So it's good to see him having a good game here and also last week. Chris James says, why do we always let the team back in just before half-time? Well, usually it's because the defense wasn't good enough. Just before half-time. Usually. I always do say, though, it's not necessarily a metric to live by. Don't live by it. But the team who scores in the last 5 minutes of the first half in a close game, a competitive game, usually goes on to win. Don't use it as a metric that is actually... well, it's valuable to understand, but it's not... I wouldn't, risk my life on it. So 12-6 here to the Rabbitohs, but the Raiders will get that conversion. So 43 seconds left of the first half, and it's only a 6-point game. Touchdown Las Vegas. Well, Ethan Strange doesn't pass that ball there, Dad. So I'm trying to figure out where the forward pass was. And the pass that got to Ethan Strange was backwards by about 10 meters. So I'm trying to figure out how Derek Carr threw that touchdown. I live and die by that, even got a tattoo of it. Fair enough, I would too. I would too. And I would make sure it's real. Definitely make sure it's real, mate. If you don't make sure it's real, if you've just got one of those airbrush tattoos or one of those ones, they came off in quite literally about 24 hours the other week. Last week when we had those fake tats, they came off, I think, at best 48 hours. And then it was so patchy that I just took it off. But then again, I ended up having to only pay $3.20 Australian for both of them. In total, $3.20 for both of the neck tats. Raiders, Ethan Strange out to Simi Sasangi. 6 seconds left in the first half. Can they get one final play off? They will. Hudson Young Hudson Young will dink it over the top here. Raiders will catch it. Jamal Fogarty flicks out the back. Rabbitohs get it, and it will be the half time. See half time. And says, what live stream are we doing next? The Tigers Panthers after this game. We've got Tigers Panthers today, and then tomorrow we've got a special occasion, King's birthday. So it is Bulldog and Dogs versus the Eels tomorrow. But Tigers Panthers is the next game we'll be doing. I am doing a Pilates stream next, Olivia. Yes, that's what we do here. Apparently, I'm at a spiritual retreat in Thailand, and now I'm doing Pilates, and I've got a tattoo of whoever scores 5 minutes before halftime in a competitive game wins. So a lot going on here on BKR Sport. A lot going on. Just lucky that Jay is alive after the shenanigans on Friday. But guys, let's get into the statistics. Let's get into the statistics from the first half. Obviously, go and smack that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. It is super close. It's only a 6-point game. The Raiders, they were kind of outdone for the majority of that first 40, but they just found a way to score late on, which brings them back into the contention for the top of the table, sir. Oh, no, Daz. Daz is terrified as a Dogs fan. Dogs fans and Warriors fans right now, they're sitting together, they're watching the TV, they're holding each other's hands. The left hand, I'm hoping, is away from the other person, but they've definitely got the right hands just holding each other right now, and I think that's a really beautiful moment in New Zealand and Canberra history there, as they both do support South Sydney. And Bulldogs fans, I don't think would have been thinking they'd be big Rabbitohs fans, but today they absolutely are. But statistically, 53% possession-wise for the Rabbitohs, 47% possession-wise for the Raiders, so it's pretty much even. Go time possession, it's 15 minutes 34 for the Rabbits and 13.5 minutes for the Raiders. So 2 minutes separation there. Completion rate is not great from both these teams, but you'd expect that in wet weather and also cold of winter down there in Canberra. You know, it's a cold place. I've been there many times for games, and I can tell you that place gets cold as fuck, baby. Gets cold as fuck. 76%, 16 from 21 for the Raiders, and 73%, 17 from 23 for the Rabbitohs. So pretty much the same there. Pretty much not good, but 76% still at least getting to the basic mark of 80, but it's still not great. All runs here, 100 for the Rabbitohs, 80 for the Raiders. Again, these will update. It's just a guide, but through 20 more runs, this is a big gap. 20 more runs, the Rabbitohs have got 819 run meters. The Raiders have 804. So why I say that's a big gap, 808 now with 19 less runs. So 10 meters per run is what you're aiming for. 10 meters per run. So if you were to try and equal out the Rabbitohs and the Raiders here and give the Raiders to 100 runs alongside the Rabbitohs here to see who's winning that middle, the Raiders are demolishing them by like nearly 200 meters. They're nearly demolishing them by nearly 200 meters. So the Rabbitohs have had just a little bit more of the ball. They've had a lot more runs, 19 more runs. Oh my gosh. Through 82 runs, they've just updated it. So the Raiders have had 17 less runs. 17 less runs. 100 runs to 83. The Raiders are now leading 830 to 819. They have got 17 less runs. Now 16 is 834 to 819. So go and give that 160... 16. Yeah, go and give 16 runs, 160 meters. They are at 1,000 meters, whilst the Rabbitohs are at 819. If you compare that, if they were both getting the same amount of opportunities with runs, so it's a big stat that it tells the Raiders are massively, leading that middle battle, and the post contact as well is wild. 285 meters here for the Raiders and 253 for the Rabbitohs. The Raiders are absolutely totaling them in the middle of the field with the forwards. They are slaughtering them with these numbers. Oh, dude, it's getting even worse. It's getting even worse. 847 and 291 post contact now. Line breaks is 3-2 for the Raiders. Tackle breaks is 18 to 15 to the Rabbitohs. Average set distance is similar-ish. 40.5 for the Raiders, which is on the very, very low end of great average set distance. Anything above 40 to 45 is great. Anything 35 to 40 is okay, it's average. They're at 40.5, so they're right on the low end of the great, whilst the average set distance for the Rabbitohs is 35.65, so they're right on the low end of the average. Anything from 35 to 40 is average. Everything from 30 to 35 is disgusting. They're at 35.65, so they're still in the average, but it's getting close enough to that yikes section. Average play the ball speed is 3.22 for the Raiders and 3.41 for the Rabbitohs. That's pretty fast there. That's really, actually, it's not really fast like the 3.1 and the 3.09s and stuff we've been seeing recently. But 3.23 is definitely speedy enough. 3.41 is getting towards the slower side, but it's still quite fast. It's still quite fast. It's getting towards that middle area. Offloads 3-1 to the Raiders. Then you go to forced dropouts. It's 2-2. It's a lot of dropouts in this game so far. Kick defusal is 100% for the Raiders and 83% for the Rabbitohs. Effective tackle percentage is very good from both these teams. So defensively, this game is a really good game. 92.46% effective tackle percentage for the Raiders, which is 233 tackles made, 18 missed tackles, and an astounding 1 ineffective. So only 19 bad, well, I shouldn't say only, 19 bad tackles in the first half, but they've made so many tackles with 233, and to be fair, this stat line is very much helped by the fact that there's not many ineffective tackles. Neither team has too many ineffective tackles, but one is really, really good. So that's good defense there from the Raiders. Whilst the Rabbitohs are not too far off at 90.52%. Again, 88% is the marker, so both these teams are well above that. Anything above 90 is fantastic. So they're 90.52%. 191 tackles made for the Rabbitohs with 14 missed tackles and 5 ineffective tackles. So 19 bad tackles as well. They've got 4 less missed tackles, but they've got 4 more ineffective, so it's 19-19 in regards to bad tackles. Negative play, errors-wise, Raiders 5, Rabbitohs 6. You're going to see that in wet weather footy. Penalties, you can see it is 2-1 Raiders' way. Ruck infringements is 3-2 Rabbitohs' way, and on reports is 2-0 to the Raiders. So you look through those stats. Defensively, very good game here. In regards to the meters in the middle of the field, the Raiders are tearing that shit up. They're tearing that shit up like crazy. 15 less runs, and they've got 40 more meters. 40 more post-contact meters, and 22 more meters in general through 15 less runs is a really good stat there for the Raiders. So I'm still going to tip the Raiders here. But with that being said, the defense is so good at the moment from both these teams. I know they've missed a few tackles, but effective tackle percentage kind of equals it out to kind of give you that comparison. And I will say that the Raiders are still down by 6 in a defensive-minded game, so it's going to be interesting to see if they can come back, especially considering the Rabbitohs are fighting for a 6th spot rather than going into the 13th spot. Jared Farm Money says, chicken curry ready just in time for half-time. Yeah, baby. Oh, thanks, mate. Thanks for telling me that you're going to eat while I can't eat. What a disgrace. Ah, what a disgrace. Mitchell says the King has the same birthday as the Queen did. What a coincidence. Mate, massive coincidence. Big coincidence, mate. Big coincidence. Ibrahim says Mitchell into a bit of conspiracies. Maybe this is the Queen. How dare you assume? How dare you assume? Toby7 says if Laurie doesn't pick Keon, my God. So who are you dropping? Are you saying to Max King that you're going to drop him? Who are you dropping? So let me get this straight. Let me just ask you a quick question here, Toby. I just want to ask you a really quick question. So you win game 1. You've also won game 3 and game 2 of last year. You won 3 Origin games in a row, and your suggestion is to switch up the team. This is what your suggestion is. You'd like to switch up the team. Deary me, Toby. This is New South Wales to a brim, to a key, to a T, to a brim, to a key, to a T. We got there in the end. Daniel Bates says, Ibrahim, I'll not lie. These past few years, I've gone virtually full conspiracy theorist. Crazy times on here on this rock we call Earth. Oh no, Jay! If you get Jay on the conspiracies, he's going to give you something crazy. He's going to give you something really crazy. Juwan says Broncos winning the premiership. Yeah, maybe for the biggest wankers. And says, do you watch Super Rugby Pacific? I do. I'm a big Fiji and Drua fan. Unfortunately, we're not. Unfortunately, the Fiji and Drua, well, we didn't get the wooden spoon, which we take. We definitely do take there. But unfortunately, they weren't able to make the finals. But it was a good game between the Blues and the Chiefs yesterday. Good game. Daniel Bates says, I'll not go into it too much here, but guys, you want to see the state of the UK right now? No. No, this is the thing. You know what's funny about travelling, right? So, just a reminder to everyone, it's halftime, 12-6 Rabbitohs. The funniest thing about travelling is obviously the amount of people you meet from all over the world. You know, I've met plenty of people now from India and Thailand and all across Asia, America, all across Europe, everywhere. There's nearly not a country that I haven't met at this point. You know, plenty of Syrians, plenty of Bulgarians, we've got Romanians. You know, soon I'm going to meet someone from North Central Ireland that's coming up. But the point is that everyone always is talking about like their neighbour. This country's doing this, and this country's doing that, and this country's doing that. And I say, hey, listen, us in Australia and New Zealand, we don't give a fuck. We're just doing our own thing. I know I'm in Thailand, and I have to deal with now Cambodia and stuff like that that's going on. But it's so funny when you travel and you realise that all these countries just like hate each other, and they're right next to it. Like and then we've got Australia and New Zealand just chilling, just doing their own thing, and people are talking about wars and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, this is why we live down here. This is why we're in Australia. You have fun, you do your thing. We're gonna watch on TV. We watch you do this on TV. We do this down here. We're going to have our barbecue. We're going to go down to Buddy Burley Heads on the Gold Coast. We're going to put our feet up. We're going to not get a 4X. Definitely not a Foster's if you're American. And we definitely don't call them shrimp. But we're going to go down to the beach. We're going to put our feet up. We're going to chuck the TV on. And we're just going to sit in the nice, beautiful sun. Because if you want to come attack Australia or New Zealand, good luck. Because you've got a big swim ahead of you. You've got a big swim ahead of her. But it's so funny to see all these problems that you find around the world and how, like, obviously passionate people are, which is, of course. But we're just chilling away from it all. Like, when you meet Europeans, for example, you know, the Europeans obviously have problems everywhere, man. They've got problems everywhere. Off to the beach to watch the Chinese warships. You're an idiot, man. Like, dead set. You know, can't we just have one nice thing here, Jay? I think what they're doing is trying to take over Perth. I've told you this. Perth is closer to Beijing than it is to the Western world of the east coast of Australia. It's basically Beijing. This is what they're doing. They ain't coming for the east coast. No. They're not coming for the east coast. East coast is sweet. They're chilling. They just want to see what life looks like when you're chilling. And they go past the Gold Coast and are like, wow. I'm not going to go there because that rugby league team sucks, but it looks like a beautiful place. And they go past Sydney, and they see Manly, and they're like, okay, no, I'm going to keep going past here. They're living their life. You go past Melbourne, they're like, that place is too cold, and they're basically Mexico. We don't want to take over Mexico. We'll leave them. They go past to South Australia, and that's when they see, they're like, oh, there's too many great white sharks here. It's just it's church city. When actually China's a big Christian country now, but big church city, we'll let them be. You know, we respect them. I think that's because of their Christian values. And then they go across to Western Australia and they're like, well, I can actually see Shanghai from here. Like they go to Perth and they can see Shanghai. They're like, okay, well, that's close enough. So they're going to take over Perth. They're not taking over East Coast, mate. They can see the bright lights of Shanghai in the night. So that's what's happening. Chubby says, Australia warships cut New Zealand internet yesterday. Stop it. We love New Zealand. Our little brothers. Like a Ballsack says, close fight in the UFC right now. Fair enough. Barnett is injured. Got to bring someone in. Oh, that's a good point. Oh, sorry. I forgot about that, Toby. Well, you know, I'm not sorry. But, you know, I apologise without the apology. Daniel Bates says, I don't want to get political here. Let's just say it's a crazy place here right now. People don't see it. Mate, I see it. I've never seen something more in my life. Ibrahim says, what has this stream gone to? Blame the conspiracy. This is what I tell you guys all the time. You know, it's halftime of a great game right now, and if someone brings up a conspiracy, it gets crazy here. It gets crazy. They did live firing on the East Coast. No. See, Jay, this is where you misunderstand. This is where you misunderstand, Jay. That is so that we hear it, so that we can tell you guys that they're coming. And you found out. So it's good. So they do that there just to say, hey, listen, we're here, we're chilling. It might have actually been a celebration. As they're going past Brisbane, they might have seen like fireworks because obviously people in Queensland are always very happy because they live in a great state. Going past Brisbane, they saw Redcliffe. They're like, what the hell is that? But then they saw Brisbane City, and I think they were just kind of getting amongst the party vibe and the party spirit as they were making their way around. Because they don't go across, they didn't want to even check out Northern Australia. Mate, they didn't even want to check that. The Crocodiles will eat their warship. That's it. You know, you got to be serious, Joe. Come on, man. It's a very serious channel. Ezra says, Bronx went up a lot in the ladder from last night's game. Okay. They beat 7-8. But, yes, the ladder is very close. That doesn't mean jack, but yes, they technically did. They are saber rattling, I think, showing off their huge weapons. No. You know, this is getting silly now. The Gold Coast top 4 finish in 5 years. Mitchell Velosport, I'll be happy to win 4 games in 5 years at this point. I'll be happy if the Gold Coast win 4 games in 5 years, let alone a top 4 finish. All right, so the second half is about to get started here. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe as the second half is about to get started. Let the fun begin. It is a 6-point game. Close one right now. Let me know in the chat who you think does win. It will be the Raiders kicking it off here to the Rabbitohs. And they're bringing it out here from their own 5. Tyrone Monroe off to Sean Kepi, and he'll be out to the 15. I definitely feel like another coffee after this. Also, maybe I'll go watch Lilo and Stitch tonight. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that. That is what I'm going to do. But see, Jay's going quiet now because he understands I'm right in regards to the conspiracies. So the Rabbitohs will get this ball to the 44. It's just Western Australian delusion here. There's a reason why it's not called Australia. It's Western Australia. Because west of Australia. That's right. BK geopolitical bloody geography is coming right at you. So Rabbitohs, Latrell Mitchell kicks this ball into the corner. I want to see Ricky kick some shit around the sideline. Love that shit. Well, oh, that's in goal. That's going to be a 7-tackle set. That was an awful kick. Did you rent out the movies for us yet? Haven't been able to rent out the movies yet, Olivia. I've rented it out for tonight, though. So if you're in Hua Hin, you've got a free movie. You've got a free movie, Olivia. I haven't rented it out yet, but it is ready for tonight. So if you're here, we're going to watch Lilo and Stitch and then The Karate Kid. Yes. But you have to be in Hua Hin in Thailand. So second tackle, and the Raiders get this ball to the 50. Now third tackle. Honestly, I think that try for the Raiders might actually win them the game. I know it's a long way to go. He blew all that cash. Okay. You guys are obsessed with ladyboys and ping pong shows, eh? Like, you guys... Seriously. Seriously. You know, luckily I'm not in Bangkok. If I was in Bangkok, like, I just know... I know what this chat would be like. Fit tackle. They put it in the air. Oh, Johnson catches it. But he did juggle it a little bit, but it's fine. It's the first tackle for the Rabbitohs at the 10. You know, at least I'm in Hua Hin, which is, like, I've got a reason to be here, fitness retreat, doing all that. If I was in Bangkok, I would just hear absolute dribble 24/7. If I went to, like, a place like Koh Samui or maybe not Koh Samui, Patong Beach in Phuket, or it's Pattaya, I wouldn't hear the end of it. Marab just submitted O'Malley. Yeah, I told you. That's exactly what I told you would happen. Jay. Well, it's possible. You don't want to know the possibility, but it is actually possible if you really get your brain going, man. It is. It is technically possible. It's just not the area that you're referring to. So first tackle here for the Raiders at the 5. So Savelia Tamale has been ruled out with a knee. It's strange that it's taken this long. You said it, not me. No, you said it, man. You're the one encouraging it. I do think like a conspiracy theorist sometimes, and I get to explain things and change my mind, but at least I'm thinking stuff. Never be afraid to expand your knowledge. Just don't wear a tinfoil hat. Like, please don't just put a tinfoil hat on. But that doesn't mean that you can't look at the perspectives and the opinions and look at things that maybe coincidental, maybe not coincidental. Like, conspiracy theories are fantastic to think about, and they're really interesting. It doesn't mean that they're all right, but there are definitely ones that make a lot of sense. And there are definitely ones that are pretty much guaranteed. But for example, like if you think that I'm an AI bot, then there's a problem. You know, if you think that I am an AI bot, there's a problem. 1-1 strip here for the Raiders at the halfway point. Dirty old man in Thailand. Dude, I'm a commodity in this country, man. If you are under the age of 50, you are a commodity in this country, dude. Like, dead set. Like, people... You're only old in this country if you're, like, decrepit. Like, truly. And I'm talking, like, 70, 80. People here don't even think about that. Like, it's a wild country, dude. Like 31, I'm basically super young in this country. It's just crazy to me. So fifth tackle here, 10 meters. I am young anyway. 31 is super young, but 31 is extremely young here in Thailand. And Raiders on fifth tackle. I don't know what that was. That was pathetic. So Rabbitohs will get the ball here at the 5. I have put on the tinfoil hat recently. I'll admit it. No, I'm talking physically. Do not put a literal tinfoil hat on. Literally. Daniel Reset. Oh my gosh. Jay's into him now. The Jay's into the Black Knight satellite now. Second tackle now for the Rabbitohs, and they'll be at the 13. At least it is a close game. Third tackle at 20. Who do you think is going to win? I personally still think the Raiders win. Or second moon theory. I've heard this before. And now Tavita Totola to the 45 on fit tackle. Should I? Well, Daniel, do it at your own risk. Like, Jay is very big on the old conspiracies, so he's probably giving you a really intriguing one. KO Weeks gives out to Sebastian Chris, and Chris now to 25 to the 30. Taken down. Enjoy the rabbit hole. Just don't go on to Reddit, mate. You go on to Reddit, and that's it. Your night's done. Your day's over. You're gone for at least 24 hours if you go on to Reddit and look at conspiracies. And Xavier Savage to the 50, third tackle. The first 6 minutes here, the Raiders have definitely had the field position. Tom Starling, Morgan Smithies, and he'll get inside the attack and 40 on fourth tackle, 38 metres away. Josh Popperley and Joe Tarpany on the bench right now. Tom Starling goes for a quick little scoot, gives it off to Jamal Fogarty, and Fogarty's going to be 22 metres away here. They've definitely had the field position in the second half. Out to KO Weeks, kicks it through. Trell Mick gets it. Oh, arguably high. No, apparently not. Chase's BRB, that would be why he's either going to see a dog or he's going to search into the conspiracy theories. I'd rather just enjoy life and stay away, but sometimes I just can't help it. Mate, I don't even think about it. The only time I think about it is now. But I guess that's because I'm traveling, there's always something going on. If I'm stuck inside my room at home, sure, you get buddy mind bogged down on all the dark shit in the world, but I've got too much going on. So you just got to find your passion, man. Just buddy live it up. Who cares? At the end of the day, what are you going to be able to change? Fit tackle here at the 40. The only thing you can change is your life. You can't change the world. Everyone thinks they can change the world. Can't change nothing. And if you do, then mysteriously you'll be on a plane that ultimately ends up crashing into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean or Indian Ocean. Alright, so that's going to be a 7 tackle set here for the Raiders. He'll come out to the 20. And now the Raiders bring it out to the 30 through Sebastian Chris on 0 tackle. Might have sushi today. That's what I'm going to do. Xavier Savage gets this ball to the 40. I think Trell's actually been really solid. I think he threw one ball over the sideline. Outside of that, I think he's been pretty solid here. Manny Tomoko to the halfway point, second tackle, especially with that catch before. That was a really difficult catch. Oh, that's going to be a penalty to the Raiders. This game, I'm telling you, the second half has been all Raiders at the moment. I scroll on the internet too much. You're right. Get out in nature, maybe with nothing but bird song and flowing rivers. If that's your thing, then that's your thing. Give me 1 second here. All right, 12-6 the Rabbitohs, but the Raiders have an opportunity right now. And now they'll get this ball 15 metres away from the line. Ata Mariota, first tackle. Here comes Canberra. Canberra, Tom Starling, Horsburgh, Jamal Fogarty underneath to Hudson Young. Hudson Young still going here, 13 metres away. He'll get the offload away to Tom Starling. He's 10 metres out, 5 metres out. Tom Starling! Oh, 3 metres away. Great run from Tom, though. Hudson Young goes himself, and good cover to defence from the Rabbitohs. Third tackle, 30 minutes to go here at the game, guys. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Raiders, Ethan Strange with a try. Makes it 12-10 with a kick to come. And we may be about to be seeing a tied up ball game here. And Ethan Strange has scored both tries for the Raiders. He has scored both tries here for the Raiders. Ethan Strange having a big game. Paul says, cheers for the Wars game yesterday, and shout out to the Panthers fan feeling so... Paul, listen, don't be silly. Don't be silly. Panthers are going through a rough trot, mate. They're going through a real rough trot. You've got to really be sympathetic. I know they may have won 4 premierships in a row and 5 grand finals in a row they've been in. Come on. Don't be silly now. Like, look, you may be a Titans fan who lost to the Broncos yesterday, but they've got an illustrious history of beating them 3 times in a row. You can't feel sorry for us. We've got a great history on the Gold Coast. New Zealand, they were in a preliminary final 2 years ago. Can't feel sorry for them. No. Grand final 2011. Can't feel sorry for them. Tigers might have won 3 wooden spoons in a row, but shit. At least they're consistent. So you can't be sorry for them. But the Panthers, now that's a tough life. That's a tough life. So Ethan Strange also going for the conversion here. So he's gotten every single point of the Raiders so far. Every single point. 29 minutes left here. Don't forget, we'll be live for the Tigers Panthers after this. Now, this is a very, very serious channel. Exactly right, Lagging. I've been trying to tell you this. 1 second. It's very serious. I've got to talk about this conversion, which Ethan Strange does make. So it's a tie game. 12-12. 29 minutes to go here of the game. But this is a very, very serious channel, Lagging. Let's not joke about that awful situation going on at Penrith. Get a grip, mate. No, I blame Paul. It's not my fault. Paul brought it up. I'm sorry, Panthers fans, on behalf of Paul. Paul's the one who brought it up, that Penrith. It is. I'm so sorry that we reminded you about the tough time that you're currently in. All right, 12-12. Who do you think is going to win, Penrith or Tigers? Probably people who aren't going to watch the game, but Panthers. But probably people who aren't going to watch the game. Raiders now to 10. It is still a game between third last and fifth last. And whoever loses is in the bottom 4. But with that being said, if the Tigers win, they will go all the way up from 13th to probably about 12th. Massive jump. Huge jump. But if they lose, they will jump back down really into the dribbler brigade, the dribbler squad. And they'll be in the bottom 4 again. If they lose by more than 7 points, they actually go into third last, below the Knights and the Panthers. And then if the Eels won tomorrow, if the Tigers got pumped and then the Eels won, they could go into second last. So Jamal Fogarty will whack that one down to the centre where it will be not Trell Mitt, there'll be Alex Johnson grabbing it at the 15. He'll bring it out to the 30, the 35. But no, I do think the Panthers win. The Tigers are the home team, though. Maybe this is their moment. But I do still think the Panthers find a way. They're going to go for a bit of a run in this middle part of the year, the Panthers. But they will still find it tough with Origin. Actually, next week I think they've got a bye. I think they're a part of the bye brigade next week. Round 15, you've got the Panthers taking on the bye. Yep, you do. Oh, here's a chance to Rabbitohs. They're 25 metres out from the line, 4 tackle. Good run there. Who did the Panthers play the week after, actually? The Warriors. That's a big game in New Zealand. Lazo says, I was at the Bronx game yesterday. I'm so sorry. Don't think I've seen a worse team than the Titans. Sorry, mate. No. I'm sorry to you for having to watch the team. And it will be Raiders taking back in the in goals. It'll be a dropout. And also, that's just stupid as well. Newcastle Knights in the 2010s looked way worse than the Titans. Titans look really bad right now. But, let's not pretend like the Knights of the 2010s didn't happen. Let's not pretend like the Tigers of the last 3 years haven't happened. Let's not pretend like the Bulldogs of 2020 didn't happen. And let's also not pretend that the 2020 Brisbane Broncos weren't up there for one of the worst teams of all time. So it's congratulations on finding a way to shit on the Titans, which I'm happy to do right now because, Raiders get the ball in the short dropout. I'm happy to do right now because we deserve to get slandered, but also let's not pretend like it's the worst team of all time. There is way worse. If I was to give you 3 teams that were way worse, it'd be I can't remember if it's the 2016 or 2017 Knights. They were just abhorrent. They were abhorrent. Achille Uarte dropping balls quite literally over the try line after a 90-metre break. The Tigers team of 2022, I genuinely feel like I got an STD watching that team. I feel like I got an STD watching them. And then maybe you're looking at... Oh, that's a knock on Raiders, by the way, 35. Who else would you look at? I would say Bulldogs 2021 was pretty bad, man. I would say Bulldogs 2021 is pretty bad. Travis says, I wasn't listening too well before, but how was Cody Walker's stats so far? I haven't read Cody Walker's stats. I'm not too sure. So it's going to be Isaiah Tass. He'll be at the 25. Jared Farmoney says 2023 Tigers were awful. Losing 77-0 to the Cowboys was a milestone. I think it was 74 nil. I don't think it was 77. But yeah, that is a huge scoreline. But I think the Tigers were better than a few of those other teams last year. That was a bad scoreline though. But you've got to remember they also won 66-18 against that same Cowboys team. Rabbitohs! Oh, so close. 5 minutes out from the line. Third tackle here for the Rabbitohs. 5 minutes out. Des was pissed that in the post press. Fair enough. Valid. All right, Jaden Sullivan. He's going to be taken down at the 10. Still don't understand why he's starting as the 7. Still don't really get it. Para were awful there for a while. They have been awful, yeah, for a long time. Fed tackle. Yeah, Parrin, that's right. Cheating the salary cap for 2 wooden spoons is glorious stuff from Parramatta. And that's going to hit the grass, but it's going to be picked up by the Rabbitohs in the end. And the Raiders end up getting the ball on the 5. It ended up being awful. Okay, Logan Paul says, okay, if you want me to tell you you're wrong and tell you that the Bulldogs of 2021 were one of the worst teams I've ever watched, I don't think you're the worst team I've ever watched, but they absolutely were awful. Decent mid-season runs. We saw the Knights make mid-season runs in a part of their 3 wooden spoons in a row. We saw the Tigers win a game last year, 66-18 against the Cowboys, who ended up making the finals, or was that 2023? It's fantastic that you go on, mid-season run doesn't take away from the fact that you still came last. Ultimately, you don't need to defend your team at all times, brother. At the end of the day, as a Titans fan, I'll tell you, 2019 was awful, 2011 was awful, and right now we are way worse than 2019 and 2011. You don't need to find a way to defend it. Sometimes you've just got to let things play out, and there's no way that you're telling me that the Dogs weren't absolutely god-awful in 2021 that puts them up there with one of the worst teams of all time. They've changed it around, and they're fantastic now, but you don't need to defend every single time. The mid part wasn't bad. Well, that's great. The mid part wasn't bad, but the rest of it was awful. And you were 1 game away from getting the spoon in 2020 as well. It was just lucky for you that it was a shortened season, and the Brisbane Broncos were just that little bit worse. So fifth tackle now for the Rabbitohs at the 35. And the Raiders will grab it 1 metre out from their own line. KO Weeks out to the 5, to the 10. Good run. Now to the 12. First tackle, 23 minutes to go. How about we all talk about the bad years our teams went through? Let's make this chat a therapy session. As a Titans fan, and I'm sure Tigers fans will attribute similarities here. Raiders taking out the 45. Good run. Can we talk about when we've had good years? Because I would struggle more with that than to talk about the bad years. I'm trying to figure out when there wasn't one. Fit tackle here at the 30. Fit tackle at the 30. And now they kick this ball to the corner. Raiders go up. Knocked back, I think, from... try time for the Raiders. The Rabbitohs will drop the ball. It goes back and it goes on into the in-goal, and it's a try time for Canberra. And guess what, Canberra fans? Welcome to the party. You are currently in first place on the table. Yes, the Bulldogs play the Eels tomorrow, but you are currently in first place on the table. The points differential, you are 2 points above where the Dogs are points differential-wise, and they can't take it back until tomorrow. The Canberra Raiders have shot themselves right into the top of the table. 2020 was that game against the Broncos and the Dogs, Toby, no? Because that was the game that ultimately got the Broncos the spoon. Warriors been shit a fair bit as well. I know, Paul, don't worry. You are Dribble Brigade. You are Dribble Brigade. The Warriors have always been there. They've never won a spoon, and they've never won a premiership, and no one cares about minor premierships. So it's like the Warriors have always just been there. So, yes, it's not been pretty for the Warriors. Member says, is LM doing anything for Rabbits? I don't think LaShawn Mitchell's been bad, Member. I don't think he's been bad, but I just don't think the Rabbitohs half situation is able to benefit this team enough long term. I don't think the half situation is pretty. They're not playing Jamie Humphries. He was the 14. They've got Jaden Sullivan, who's ultimately a Tigers and Dragons reject, as the starting 7 for the Rabbitohs here. And they've got Cody Walker, who's past the hump, in my opinion. So 18-12, Ethan Strange will get the conversion. 20 minutes to go of the game. Hit that like button and subscribe. 20 minutes to go. And then we will be jumping straight into the Tigers and the Panthers game. Okay. 20 minutes left. It's all right, Rabbitohs fans. You're not out just yet. Still only the one try, but I do find it very difficult to see you coming back from this one on the basis that there is a lot of play here for Canberra. Yes, there is a difference of 6th place to 13th place for you, but there's a lot of play here for Canberra. Second tackle now for the Raiders, and they're going to get this ball now to the 25. I need a walkie-talkie. Why do you need a walkie-talkie? That is an extremely random comment. Walkie-talkie. I remember with my neighbours, I used to have a walkie-talkie, and we would talk at night between bedrooms. That was good fun when I was like, bloody 13. Jamal Fogarty out of the right-hand side. Good pass, good pass, good pass. They're away. Xavier Savage back on the inside, and Trell Mitt will grab it out the 20. And a taser. Well, where'd the taser come from here? Walkie-talkie to a taser? Mate, everything's safe on the East Coast, especially in Queensland, Jay. Not over there in Perth, near Beijing. And pepper. Okay, and now I've got pepper spray coming. Oh no, that is going to be a knock-on from the Rabbitohs. So the Raiders will get the ball to 28. Knock-on from Isaiah Tass, and this is starting to look a little bit ugly now for South Sydney if they don't find a way to stop Canberra. If the Canberra score here, I don't know if they can come. I don't know if the Rabbitohs will be able to come back. There's too much momentum. Olivia's head of security now, and she needs these items. Yeah, fair enough. Well, she's already timed out Travis here from before, so. Storm salary cap? No, Storm salary cap. Yes, they came last, but that was because it was forced. They still ended up coming like top 6, I think, on games 1 that year for a season where they had nothing to play for. So first tackle now for the Raiders, 25 metres out. Could have even been top 4. I can't remember. Sounds like Kirk Kate will be asked to stay in Oz for Origin selection. Really? Ethan Strange! Ethan Strange has been outrageously good in this game. And now we'll be taken down to the 10. Instead of Origin teams going to be announced later today. I would assume so. Obviously, there is a game tomorrow, but I would assume so. 6 again now for Canberra. 10 metres out. The guy to the left-hand side, Hudson Young. Hudson Young! 2 metres out. First tackle. If Raiders score here, I just can't see the Rabbits come back. They can technically. There's still plenty of time. But I don't think they overturn the momentum. Adam Mariota is 3 metres away from the line. Second tackle. Well, New South Wales team will be announced, I would assume, today. But Queensland don't usually release it until the next day. Matty Tomoko, if he had to flick that ball over the top, they'd probably score on the wing. But he went for the centre. Third tackle. They give it off to Jamal Fogarty. Jamal Fogarty then to Joe Tarpany. Tarpany back onto the outside. It'll be 5 metres out. Fourth tackle. This is a game-deciding defensive set here, in my opinion. Zach Hoskin crunching the tackle by Siliva Havili. I want to talk to the coach in the coaching block. I don't think they're going to be wanting to listen. Olivia. But then again, it'd be good to be able to speak to Trent Barrett. Now the Raiders will get this ball to the 5. I'll put $20 on Queensland, I think, because the refs are going to control the outcome. Okay. We're already talking about referees before the game's even started. Fourth tackle now for Rabbitohs at the 20. Fourth tackle at the 20. They go out to the right-hand side. JJ says, if you support the Raiders, everybody will hate you. Firstly, if you're talking to me, I don't give a fuck if you hate me. But also, secondly, why do you hate the Raiders so much? 18-12 to go to 6. That makes absolutely no sense. Why do you hate the Raiders so much? First tackle, Jamal Fogarty gives it off to Xavier Savage, then to Sebastian Chris, and good run there from Sebastian Chris. You know what, I might start supporting the Raiders just because you said that everybody will hate me. Oh no. What'd I do, JJ? What'd I do? Third tackle now to 45. 16 minutes to go here in the game. What will I do? Let's call Corey Allen, Corey Norman, and Edric Lee back up while we're at it. Corey Allen. Corey Allen being Origin will always baffle me, considering that, especially because they won. Maybe he's a Warriors or Doggies fan. Well, it would have to be. It would have to be, because who hates Canberra? No one usually thinks of Canberra, let alone hates Canberra. I'm not going to be here for Origin 2. I'm going to Katy Perry in my blow-up shark costume. You're going to miss Origin to put a shark costume on for Katy Perry. Fair enough. Fair enough. Rabbitohs now taken down to the 20. Third tackle. Has she got long hair again? She was very attractive when she had long hair. Unfortunately, she went a bit wild for a bit, but she was very attractive when she had long hair. The Rabbitohs now will get this ball back out to the 35. Fifth tackle. I haven't heard her name in ages, to be fair. Katy Perry's an astronaut. Yeah, officially, mate. There's your conspiracy theory, Jay. Raiders bring it out to the 20. To be fair, Olivia is a Kiwi, so that's why she doesn't really care about missing Origin. Raiders fans are trembling after JJ said that. Mate, I'm trembling after JJ said that. I'm trembling. Good run there from Canberra. Go, Canberra! Go, Raiders! Fire up! Fire up, Canberra! JJ, fire up, Canberra! Come on! She rode the... Raiders down... Oh, that's a good run there from Xavier Savage. Fourth tackle at 38. She rides on a butterfly instead of a tiger for Raw. Well, that doesn't make sense. Josh Papali'i, he'll get this ball here to the 30 on fifth tackle. 14 minutes to go here in the game. Out to Jamal Fogarty. Fogarty up into the air for the wing. Raiders will knock it back. It's Raiders ball still. Hudson Young flicks it off. Raiders will go into first position. They're going to score. And I just don't see the Rabbitohs coming back from here. It's going to be 22-12 with a kick to come. 22-12 with a kick to come. Hey, JJ. Hey, JJ90. I got a question for you. And my question is... What are you doing? If I don't win the costume competition and she doesn't sing Peacock, I'll leave, okay? To be fair, Olivia, I'm gonna suggest that maybe the shark costume, the baby shark costume, is probably gonna be worn by about half the crowd. Maybe half the crowd. So it's gonna be very hard to win a costume competition alongside half the crowd. I don't even know what Peacock is, to be fair. But the Raiders will score, and it's 22-12 with a kick to come. Jay is really into these theories. She was good until she sold her soul to the devil. To be fair, Hollywood is quite messed up. It's a big kick here to make it a 12-point game. See, this is something you should have had a try earlier. It's just that, unfortunately, it's a knock-on again. It was very close, though. Damn, Canberra actually flying this year. Peacock is iconic. Not a song I should have been singing at 7, but who cares? I don't know if I've ever heard this. I don't know. Surely I would have heard it. Peacock song. I'm not too sure. Ethan Strange will get the kick. He's been really good with his conversions today. 24-12. With 12 and a half minutes to go here. 24-12. No, I'm not going to play it because I get copyrighted. I actually literally cannot play it. I actually quite literally cannot play it. If I could play it, I would have. But I cannot. I cannot do it. Alright, Rabbitohs, you've got a mountain ahead of you. Because right now, you are looking extremely likely to be going into 13th place. Well, no, sorry, not extremely likely. You're in 12th place. The Tigers, if they beat the Panthers, will go above you. If the Panthers win, then you will stay in 12th place. Unfortunately, 6th is not happening today. Cody Walker has a groin injury. He's out. Who scored? Simi Sasungi scored, no? I think it was Simi Sasungi. I'll quickly make sure. So Canberra now at the 30 on third tackle. Yeah, it was Simi Sasungi. Ethan Strange, Zach Hosking, and Simi Sasungi. Wow, look at that table now. Canberra, they are at 10 points better than the Bulldogs points differential-wise as we speak. It is a tied game. Tied between Canberra, Bulldogs, and Warriors at the top of the table. But that points differential is what hurts you, Warriors fans. But if the Eels were able to get a win over the Bulldogs tomorrow, that would bring the Bulldogs back in play for New Zealand points differential-wise. They're obviously not going above them tomorrow. But because they would have to lose by about 35 to the Eels. But even if they lose by like 10 points, 14 points, which again I don't think is happening, I think the Bulldogs win. Even if they lost by that margin, it would start to bring the Bulldogs back into play for a few teams. The Storm don't give a shit. Their points differential is way better than everybody anyway. Keon Kalamatangi gets away third tackle at the 45. He'll flick it underneath for a knock-on for the Rabbitohs. This game's all but done. 10 minutes to go of the game here, guys. Hit a thumbs up button, subscribe. This game is pretty much as good as gone. Jared Funmoney says, I'm just glad our points differential is double digits for the first time. Are you talking about Warriors? Warriors were +5. What are you talking about? Oh, double digits. Sorry, my brain clocked on as in the positive. For some reason, my brain clocked on as that being a positive points differential. I'm like, you're on +5. I get ya. Toby Simmons says, I can't believe how good the Warriors have been. I had them pegged for the bottom 4. Pretty much everyone did, Toby. Pretty much everyone did. Yesterday was their first really, really good game. The other games, a lot of them have been very shaky, but they've still got the 2 points. Yesterday was a very good performance. Josh Papali'i! In his 319th game, in his milestone game, Josh Papali'i will score next to the post. That's a good, happy moment there for Canberra. Yeah, let him kick it too, Lucas. Exactly right. Let him kick it too. Josh Papali'i, Josh Papali'i, Papali'i, Papali'i. 28-12 would have kicked to come, and Josh Papali'i on his 319th game, taking the lead for most amount of caps for the Canberra Raiders. Papali'i will basically win them the game too, to take it to a 3-try game. I was on the Nangs yesterday. They were literally giving out energy shots in small silver bottles on Caxton Street. They were disgusting. I could see why they were giving out. I don't even know what Nangs are. I don't even know what you're talking about. What are Nangs? What are Nangs? I don't even know what that is. Nine minutes left. Brain cell killers. What actually are they, though? Big Bubba with the try. I looked at them, that 17k multi again. He needs Liam Martin anytime in the next game as well. I'd be cashing out after this game, to be fair. Jeez, the Rays fans are going off right now. Good atmosphere inside the stadium. Nitrogen oxide? I don't know what's happening. So he's got 66 tries in his career through 319 games. But Ethan Strange, I'd have him as the player of the match, to be fair. A couple of try assists. And it's just been clearly for me the Raiders' best player. Strange will kick it on through. So 30-12 with 8:40 to go. Honestly, probably the reason why they're not giving the kick to Papa is because points differential is very important right now, especially around where the Bulldogs are. They do want to separate themselves from the Warriors. They do want to try and push themselves up towards... what's it called? The Storm, who are a long way away, but still. The point of the matter is that points differential matters. JJ says Raiders don't deserve the top 8. Okay, mate. Okay, JJ. Can you please give me an intellectual answer as to why the Raiders don't deserve the top 8? Give me just one, please. Give me an intellectual answer. I want you to actually come up with something with your brain to tell me why the Raiders don't deserve the top 8. because they're currently in first position. So it's a pretty bold statement to say the Raiders don't deserve to be in the top 8 when they're first. But you know, each their own. Each their own, mate. I just hate them. Why? Why do you hate Canberra? Are you a Rabbitohs fan? Are you a Dogs fan? Are you just a Muppet? There's a lot of options here. Maybe you're a Wars fan. And who do you support, JJ? That's what I'm trying to figure out here, Yeah, it's a good question. It's a very good question. 4th tackle out to 45. I'm going to safely assume it's one of 3 teams. Rabbitohs, Bulldogs, or Warriors. Raiders now, 32 minutes out. 5th tackle. And it's 6 again. Don't worry about that. Raiders have been making everyone else the faders this year. JJ, no, I'm a Storm. Well, then you're an idiot. Like, why do you hate the Raiders? 2nd tackle. Of course you're a Storm. Probably from Dalby. 3rd tackle. Big Melbourne fan from the Central Coast or Sydney. Maybe even Brisbane. So 3rd tackle now for the Raiders at the 10. Ethan Strange. And Strange will go himself. Jeez, he's close. He's been great today. Classic. Of course he was a Storm fan. He'll be... Oh, Babaliti again! Oh, he scored again, Babaliti. He scored again. Josh Babaliti's just got a double. Josh Babaliti has just scored a double. Wowee. Wowee. Josh Babaliti. Josh Babaliti. Babaliti. Josh Babaliti with the double is crazy work. Acidic Angle says, as a Waz fan, as much as I wanted to see Raiders lose, they definitely are a top 4 team this year, JJ. You are delusional. Well, they're currently first. And he's on, old mate Josh Babaliti is on for a potential hat-trick here. Probably supports Real Madrid as well. Big Real Madrid, Melbourne Storm, Geelong Cats, and New England Patriots fan. Massive Lakers fan. As Gain says, well, nothing wrong with the Storm. Come on now. No, a lot wrong with the Storm, especially around 2010, 2009, 2008, 2007. But the fact is that old mate is coming here saying the Raiders don't deserve the top 8, that he hates the Raiders, and that if I like the Raiders, then no one's going to like me. So, unfortunately, we do have to slander the Storm right now. But they are giving Josh Babaliti the kick. They will. So I was thinking that they wanted to, keep going with their points differential, but that'd be great if he gets it. Don't forget Tigers Panthers on in about 20 minutes time, guys. We'll be live. He was mad he didn't get the kick, so he went and got another. Yeah, but this is a harder kick. Like they could have given him the kick from right in front. Instead, they've given him a kick from to the left. So Babaliti, get the kick. Come on. Come on, Big Papa. Come on, Big Papa. Get the kick. Yes! Big Papa, Big Papa, Big Papa Lee. Is that Ricky Stewart crying? Was that Ricky Stewart crying just then? No way. No way was that Ricky Stewart crying just then out of happiness. And, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying it's an amazing thing. Ricky Stewart, it does show how passionate he is. That is a really cool moment, man. That is a really cool moment. Big Papa, what a guy. Okay, get him his hat trick. Get him his hat trick. The Raiders 36-12. So now they are clearly points differential above the Dogs. Obviously the Dogs have won. Oh, sorry. The Dogs have had. Well, fun fact. With this win, the Raiders will go to 11 wins. The Dogs have had 9. So the Raiders, with their buys, are actually 2 points ahead of the Dogs. Emerald green shirt they had last year was nice. Everyone says Metcalf would have missed that. He was actually good yesterday with the boot. So out to the left. And now they're 45 minutes away, 5th tackle. Get Josh Babaliti his hat trick. Get him the hat trick. Get him the hat trick. Rabbitohs fell off in this second half. This is what happens though. I said usually the team who scores with 5 minutes to go. Rabbitohs are away. Is Itas. Taken down at the 38 or so. The team who scores with 5 minutes to go in the first half in a competitive game usually goes on to win. It's time to get the tattoo, Daz. Time to get the tattoo. Shall admit off to... Damn, I can't even think of his name right now. My brain's all over it. Jamie Humphries. Can't say I've heard or seen anyone say they hate Canberra, to be honest. I've seen it in regards to like the city, not in regards to the rugby league team. The rugby league. This means if the Doggies lose tomorrow, it'll be the first time the Dogs weren't on top of the table at the end of a round since round 3. Yep, but with that being said, the Raiders have not had a bye yet. The Raiders have not had a bye yet. I don't believe. I'm sure Ricky said it a few times. Yeah, no, Ricky probably would have said it a few times. There wouldn't be too many people who hate Canberra. Because Canberra usually like not really thought about. No one ever thinks about Canberra. What's wrong with Canberra as a city then? Well, it's not a main. It's a main city, but it's not a main city. Everyone only thinks about Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Gold Coast, Newcastle when it comes to the East Coast. That's kind of it. Sometimes maybe Townsville. And 3 minutes to go here of the game. It's full of politicians. It's a made-up city. It's a made-up city. And it is too cold. It is cold as shit. I've heard from people that it's a bit boring, Canberra. Yep. As in, there's nothing to do, but that's just what people have told me. We know what the word boring means, Jared. You didn't have to explain to us what boring meant. Canberra, I think, prostitution and politicians. Oh, yeah. Apparently, prostitution and marijuana is legal in ACT. This is what I've heard. I don't know this, but this is what I got told by someone who's from Canberra who's here right now. I did get told this. Second tackle. They go out to the right. Latrell Mitchell. Jaden Sullivan. Canberra's not as bad as people make it out to be. I think Canberra is okay to go to for a short time, not a long time. I wouldn't... It's not my cup of tea. I do find Canberra would get quite repetitive and quite not my style after a good few days. Like, I stay there for 4 or 5 days when I go down for the Titans game, and I like it, I enjoy it, but anything longer I probably wouldn't want to stay there. Michael says, boo, 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 Raiders win. Yes, they do, but they're well and truly deserving of their position right now. Fit tackle. Rabbitohs did grab it, but Jai Arrow will be taking down 3 minutes out. Small Buddha says, from Canberra, and Canberra is completely soulless. No, Small Voodoo. There is legal prostitution and legal marijuana. How about that? There's the soul. That's soulful. Move to Canberra, they said. It'd be fun, they said. Well, they tried really hard for Dave Fafita a couple of years ago, and he didn't want to live in Canberra. As a pum, I'd be curious if I passed by, but maybe not go to the red light district there. It's not like a red light district. It's not like that. You'd probably love it as an Englishman. It's still probably 10 times better than wherever you're from. 57 seconds left here of the game. Yikes. Move to Canberra if you want a quiet life. It's really quiet there. Why wouldn't you just move to if you wanted to be close to a city, move to the Gold Coast, go out to the hinterland. It's not too far from the beach. You're still out in the quiet life of, out the back of Mudgebar area, all the way out the back. Why wouldn't you just go there? If you want a quiet life, why wouldn't you probably should go to... There's plenty of places in New South Wales. Look, I'm just not a massive fan of Canberra, but I don't think it's a bad place. I just think it's probably the second along the east coast out of the major cities. I would say it's the second least wanted to move to. Like, out of all the cities, I would say Townsville is the one I would not move to the most because it's too humid, and then Canberra because it's not something I would be there for more than 4 days. And the Raiders get that ball at the 35, and they will, my friends, win the game. They will win the game 36-12. The Raiders, for Josh Papali'i's 319th, will set him up for 2 tries. and they will go into first position on the table. The Dogs are off the top of the table until at least tomorrow when they do take on the Parramatta Squeals. Now, guys, I'm going to jump off. I'll be live for the Tigers vs Panthers game in about 15 minutes' time. So, obviously, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you are new around here. I appreciate you as usual. Congratulations to Canberra. They're doing well, man. They are doing well, and it's really exciting to see there. I will see you guys in about 15 minutes. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.